Okay, we are live now. Yes, we are live. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Lagos. Good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, all over the world. My name is Aderonke Onikbede, and I have a fantastic guest on the show with me. I have someone that I love so much. Let me put on the up this one. That I've respected over the years, that has brought so much glory and honor on the screen and off the screen to many homes in Nigeria. And I can tell you, if you see her, you will definitely remember. Yes, someone said we bring the veterans on the show, and you can bet with me that she's one of them. And I am grateful, I am honored to have her on the show. Please put your hands together, join our hearts together as we welcome to our Aderonke live show, Mrs. Lillian Amah-Aluko. Good evening, ma. Good evening. Good evening. Good to
Hi,
have you.
Aderonke. Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Good evening, ma. How have you been, ma?
I've been good, thank you, and thank God.
Thank God. Thank God. It's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. I always sometimes your voice sounds like Bimba Kutalada. Your face sounds like Auntie Carol King, you know.
Both
But
of them
we
are my
always know you.
friends.
Yes, but we always know you. You had a signature way back then. It was your long dreads. It
Dreadlocks,
was your
yes,
long
I had
dreads. So
that
you're
for.
among those that made me look forward to having dreadlocks.
Thank you. I had that for about 12 years,
Wow, wow,
and
that's
then
a long
dreadlocks got too common, so I said, okay, let me change.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So share with us how did the journey start for you? I know you
Hmm.
read theater arts and all that, but how
I
did you
didn't
just
read
come?
theater arts.
Oh,
I have a
okay.
master's in English. I didn't read theater
English.
arts.
Okay, yes, yes. I remember from your profile. Yes, yes.
Yes. Way back in secondary school, we used to have inter-house competitions, drama competitions. It
Okay.
was a big deal in my school. I went to FGC Warri, and
Oh,
the drama part of it was a big deal. And I featured in several of the productions from my house, and I enjoyed them. Of course, back then, acting wasn't seen as a career.
mm.
So when I finished, I think I had finished uni. Anyway, when Living in Bondage came out,
Came out.
that was what
Okay.
got me interested in the industry. And then I started watching home videos. And I remember when Violated
Yes.
was released, I actually went to meet Amaka, the late Amaka Igwe,
Great.
and I said, I love the stuff you're doing. I was working, I had a day job. I
Yeah.
said, I love the stuff you're doing, and I'd like to do this. How do I get in? And she said, oh, okay, you need to go for auditions and stuff like that. So I said, okay. And I went back home and continued with my life. Until one day somebody came to my house, and when they were leaving, they left behind some newspapers. So while flipping through the newspapers, I saw that Richard Moffat Amijo was working on his own production.
Mm.
And it was like a call for auditions. The person who interviewed him actually gave the date and the venue of the auditions.
Mm.
And it was not far from my house. I used to live off of Kwebi then. And I remember Richard's office was on Toyin Street. So the
Mm.
the audition was at his office on Toyin Street. So after I looked at it, I said to my sister, I'm going for this audition. And she said, go away, John. You keep making noise. You never go and join these people. You just keep making noise. But it was a Saturday. So I was free to go. I went. I got there and I saw all the faces, a lot of the faces I used to see on screen. I felt odd. I didn't know anybody except for seeing them on TV. So I just
Mm.
sat down. I was reading my book by myself. When it got to my turn, they said, have you acted before? I said, well, just in school. And they said, so do you think you can act? I said, I know I can act. I said,
Mm.
okay, okay, take. They gave me a script and go and read. We'll call you when it's your turn. So when they called me, I came in and I auditioned. Then they said, put down your details and go. on so and so they come back and check. We'll have the names out. So I left. On the day I went back, I checked, I saw my name. I was excited. They took me. So we started reading. Then it was, the director was, at that time was Wale Macaulay. So we read for maybe a couple of days or a week or 2 weeks, and then Richard lost his wife, the late me. So there was a break. He had to go bury his wife and all of that. When they called us back, we got there and we met a new person. He was now the Uncle Tade Ogidon. And I knew the name. That was the first time I was seeing him. And he addressed all of us and said, well, I'm sorry, I can't work with a cast selected by someone else. So you're going to pardon me, I'm going to re-audition. And then he started calling everybody one by one. When I got in, he asked me what role I'd been casted for. I told him. And he looked at me and said, I'm sorry, you don't look old enough. The role I was initially given was the role later played by Auntie Rachel Oniga.
Okay, Auntie Rachel.
That was the mother of Tutu.
Yes. You don't play with my Tutu?
Old enough. And then he said something that I've never forgotten. He said to me, before an actor opens his or her mouth, they need to convince you that they are the person. And there is no way you can convince me. We don't have enough special effects here to make you look old enough to be Tutu's mother. So he gave me a script. He said, go and read Alero. Come back on so and so day. That's the day we're going to do the audition. I went home depressed. Okay. When I got home, I told my sister, I said, can you imagine? They had given me a small role. Now they take me to. They said, I cannot be that person. So she said, okay, so they've asked you to go. I said, no, they said I should go and read another. I said, but this one is the wife of the lead character now. If they didn't give me the small role, is it this one they will give me? And she said to me, what's wrong with you? Believe in yourself. Go and read, learn your lines, madam, and then go and audition. You know? So what she said made sense. And I said to myself, okay, I'm going to go and read. So I read that script. My sister, I don't think I've ever wanted something as much as I wanted that role. And it was just to prove to myself that I could do it. On the day we went, and they were calling people one by one to come in and audition. Of course, when you're going, you're not going to take the script. So when I got to my turn, Uncle Tade said, you've read the script, right? I said, yes. He said, okay, can you remember this particular scene? The scene in question was the scene where the wife of the pastor was leaving him.
Okay.
Because she realized he'd been sleeping around and all of that.
Yes. I remember that was Auntie Ikeria Nobi.
No. Ikeria wasn't in Out of Bounds.
Oh, that was I remember that one. That one was something pastor too. She was a pastor to RMD. Maybe it was another movie.
That's another movie. She wasn't in Out of Bounds at all.
Okay.
So he said, do you remember that? I said, yes. He said, do you know that monologue? What the woman says? I said, yes. He said, okay. When you're ready, tell us you're ready. So I said, I'm ready. And he now signaled to Richard, and Richard gave me the cue because it was between him and his wife. So he said his line, and I just started. Till tomorrow, I don't know, but that was a very difficult scene for the character because she was leaving a husband she loved very much. She was crying. And when I started saying the lines, for a moment, honestly, I was no longer me. I became that woman. And I was genuinely crying. What was beating me was the fact that I felt I wasn't going to get this role. Anyway, when I finished...
I remember that scene now. Yes, I remember that scene.
when I finished, I know somebody said, I have goosebumps. That's all.
Hmm.
And I was
Can you
just
imagine?
crying to myself. And they said, it's okay, it's over, it's okay. So I just left. I went home. I was
You're lost in
very
character.
ill. So
Hmm.
I went home. And then I came back the day they said that we should come. I can't remember how many days after that for to get the list of those who had been selected and the roles they were selected for. I went late. Lateness is not my thing. I'm always on time. But I
Hmm.
went late because I was a bit, when you feel there's no point. When I
Hmm.
got there, they were coming out of the house. This was Richard's house, not his office. They were People were coming out and they were saying to me, "Yeah, congrats, congrats." I was like, "What?" They
What
said, "You're
happened?
Valero. You're not Valero." I said, "Me." They said, "Yes, you."
Best role ever.
So, kudos to Uncle Tade Ogido and
Uh,
Richard Moffett Amijo. They
awesome.
are the foundation of whatever I
So
am today.
you knew nobody. You knew nobody.
Not
You
a
just went for a
single
normal
person.
audition.
I had
Wow.
never met any of them before.
Mm,
That's why
wow.
I'll keep on giving them kudos because
Mm.
they gave a total unknown. I hadn't done anything
Anything.
professionally. That was the first time I was facing a camera. They
Hmm.
gave an unknown a serious role.
Hmm.
That role won me 2 awards.
Wow,
Richard
yes.
Amijo, thank you. Uncle Tade Ogidon, God
Thank
bless.
you. On behalf of Auntie Lillian, I say thank you too as well. Thank you, sirs. Thank you. Thank you. And that's a big lesson for those up there. If you're opportune to have a platform where people can have, something to look forward to bring out the best in them, please make it open as much as you can. Be objective about it and give room for opportunities. Like they always say, when you climb the ladder, don't take the ladder with you. Leave the ladder. Somebody else might get to use it. And that's a big one because sincerely, a lot of people believe that in the industry, you must know someone to get a big role. You must be a familiar person. So to hear this for the first time ever, and you got that, it was a huge role because a lot of people cried with you. I
It
cried. I saw that scene. It was painful. It was a painful. And I remember
was
that
that scene that left
we
my late father.
we abused the character Auntie Bimbo played. We abused her and said, "You
Dude,
have destroyed somebody's home. You have
she
destroyed
was a
somebody's
little
home."
girl.
Well done, ma. Well done, ma. Well done. So, and how was it? How was the journey? So, because from there, so you just left where you were coming from and faced the acting
No,
career.
I continued working, which is
Okay.
one of the reasons why I didn't do a lot because
Hmm.
I was working. I had full-time jobs all through.
Hmm.
At a point, I was working in the bank. I would
I
say
wanted to say something
again,
about that the bank
thank
and the
you to
industry, they're like
I will
this.
say thank you to several people again. Ememi
Mm.
Song. Ememi
Mm.
Song, a lot of the work I did at that time, Ememi Song gave me that opportunity. She knew I was working and she sort of made the schedules for the roles she gave me fit in with when I could be away from work. So I will always thank her for that. I did a couple of movies and a TV series with her. And then I was still in the bank when I got the role in Doctor's Quarters, Mnet's Doctor's Quarters.
Yes, yes, I
That was the
remember
first
Doctor.
big series I was on, and I was working full time in the bank.
Wow,
And I would
wow.
say a big thank you to
Mm.
my bosses in Fidelity Bank at the time.
Oh, that's
The
fantastic.
Reginald Hejiahi, the MD,
Thank you,
Ati
sir.
Ifanifuche, she
Thank
was my
you.
ED. The
Oh,
current governor of Anambra State,
thanks.
His
Mm.
Excellency Willie Obiano, was also my ED.
Oh,
And
great, great.
I had my dreadlocks in the bank. They
Exactly.
did
I want
not,
to say
they
you're doing
didn't
so many
disturb
things. You're
me.
breaking
So,
protocols.
and I was acting, and I had grace. Let me put it that way. I had grace, and I was blessed with wonderful people who allowed me to be myself.
Thank you, Ma. I like that part that you said, who allowed you to be yourself. And that's the theme of the show for tonight. That finding purpose. you were able to, because of the people that God orchestrated and placed in the path in your life, and they were able to recognize that gift within you. And it's a big blessing, because many people are still struggling to
Yeah.
find that purpose. And didn't you have issues with your colleagues, how they see you or how they relate with you when they see you on screen, and when you come to the office? Was it difficult for them to relate with you? How were they able to manage your personalities on screen and your person in real life?
Again, I would say I was blessed. My colleagues, some of them found it amusing. You
Mm.
know, this woman likes to go and play. But nobody gave me negative energy at all. At
Oh,
all.
great.
They
Okay.
all encouraged me, they all supported me in different ways.
Awesome. Oh, awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. So when did you now finally say, okay, no more paid employment, let's venture full into this?
That was in 2005. I'm a very, very impulsive person.
Mm.
And along the line, I used to, I can wake up today and say, I don't want to go to this work anymore. And the next day, I'll get another job. So
Hmm.
people were like, it's because you're blessed. You keep getting work. That's why
Mm.
but at a point, I had a talk with my dad, and my dad was saying, everybody needs stability. You need
Mm.
to be able to settle somewhere, my daughter. So I promised
Mm.
him, I said, okay, I will settle. So I stayed in Fidelity Bank for 5 years. That was a record for me in job. I would generally stay 2 or 3 years and get bored and move. But I
Mm.
stayed for 5 years. But
Mm.
by 2000 and early 2005, in 2004, I was very ill for
Mm.
like about 6 months. I was really,
Wow.
really ill. It
Wow.
took time before they knew what was wrong with me.
Mm.
I had
Mm.
hyperthyroidism, and it wasn't diagnosed on time. So
Mm.
I actually
Mm.
got to the edge.
Wow.
It took a serious toll on me, and it made me I had time to think about my life and what I wanted to do, because I saw death, you know.
Mm. Mm.
So when I got better and I went back to work full time and everything was okay, but I was always questioning myself. Is this what I want to do? I knew it what I was doing no longer gave me joy.
Mm.
I used to be very miserable on Sundays because
Wow.
Monday I have to go back to work. And
Correct.
it didn't have it wasn't about the people I was working with, because they were great people.
Mm.
It's just that the job no longer gave me any satisfaction. I didn't enjoy it anymore. So I kept thinking, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then one day I went out to lunch with a friend of mine. She too was in the bank,
Mm.
and she was quite senior. She was senior to me in the banking hierarchy. So I was the acting head of private banking. She was the head of operations at the time.
Okay.
So while we're eating, we're talking, and I was saying to her that, sis, I'm tired of this work. I want a change. She said, really? That she too has been battling with
Mhm.
it, that she needs to leave. She's
Mm.
really tired. I said, oh, so it's not only me. I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go and have a talk with my husband. I have to leave. I'm tired. And
Mm.
both of us resigned, myself and the lady in question. We
Wow.
both resigned the same month. I left the
Wow.
bank September 19, 2005. She left in September 2. And when I submitted my resignation, I went to my ED, the lady I mentioned, Mrs.
Yeah.
Sisichie.
Yes.
I told her, I said, ma'am, I want to leave. She said, why?
Mm.
She said, we know you're acting. Have we disturbed you?
Yeah.
You've actually supported me, ma'am, but I've reached the point where if I don't leave, something will suffer. It's either
Mm.
your job will suffer
Mm.
or I'll have to give up my dreams. And I don't
Mm.
want to take your money and not give 110%.
Percent.
So she said, I understand. I will talk to the MD.
Hmm.
So she did talk to the MD. And then I came back from lunch one day and I heard the MD came to look for me. I said, he came down here. They said, yes. I said, I don't die. What did I do? I ran upstairs to his office. I got there. He wasn't in. I saw his special assistant and he said to me that, oh, yes, he came to look for you, but he's out. I said, please, could you let me know when he comes back so I can come and see him? He said, yes, he will. So I left. And when he called me that MD was back, I went in and I saw him. And every day I pray for Mr. Reginald Ejiahe. Wherever he is, may God keep blessing him.
Amen.
Because after he asked me the same question Mrs. Sisichi asked me, said, why do you want to leave? You're doing well and we like you. I said, I appreciate that, sir. I gave him the same answer. And then he looked at me and said, our doors will always be open. Whenever you want to come back, let us know. And if there's any way we can support you in your new love. So I thanked him and I promised him I would stay until, I would work out my 3 months notice, do the right things, make sure somebody took over my position. And I did that. And I want to say he kept his promise. When I launched my first book, Mrs. Sisichi represented him and they bought 100 copies of that book.
Wow, awesome.
When I also did the head of state with Uncle Jimmy Odumosu, they supported the premier of the head of state with some serious money.
Hey, I like that. I like that. Serious money.
So that tells you the kind of support those wonderful people gave me.
Oh, that's awesome. God bless them. God bless them wherever they are.
Amen.
That's awesome. It's always is a big honor to have people support your dreams and to see, because that gives you the strength to know that, okay, I'm doing something right. I'm in the right way. Well done, ma. Well done. So where did the lecturing come into play? What time did you get to lecture?
Okay. The lecturing, I started it before I joined Fidelity, and I did it for about a year while I was in Fidelity. It was Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Okay. They have these outreach campuses. So it was the Lagos campus, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. The main campus is in Oka. It was the Lagos campus. So the Lagos campus was a weekend thing. It was mainly for working people who want to study at the same time. Yes, and my lecturer in Unilag was their head of department in the outreach at that time. So some of us who did our masters in Unilag, he also had us after we finished. They called us in and said, "Do you want to lecture?" I know myself and a classmate of mine, Uju, were lecturers at that time, so it was fun.
Oh, great. So you still been in the line of impacting knowledge. You've still been, trying, just that it's a different industry, but it's still part of, because in movies as well, you're passing information, you're impacting knowledge, you're giving insights to issues or to life challenges and all that. So in all of this career, I guess you have settled now. You also wrote a book. Yes, let me mention that before I forget that. You also
published two. I'm on the third one.
Oh, fantastic. Share with us the first one. How was it for you? Writing, yes, you studied English, so I'm sure the writing shouldn't be difficult. But how was it putting it together?
I've always lived in my head. I've always been someone who imagines things, and I try to create things. When I was very young, I remember there was a time myself and my twin sister actually gave ourselves funny names, like not English. They were not Chinese, but we pretended the names. Yes.
Wow. You didn't mention that in your bio.
That's part of my private life. So we created this funny names that we said were Chinese, but they were not Chinese. We actually still call ourselves by those names. I'm not going to tell you what they are. And
I was about to ask.
created a funny language which we used to speak, And my siblings, our other siblings, caught on. They still call us those names when they remember, but between the both of us, we always use those names. I even have her number in my phone saved with that name. So that's the kind of child I was. So I started writing that book when I was doing youth service. Echoes of a Heartbeat was the title of the book. I started writing it when I was doing youth service, and as I was writing, I was enjoying it. I didn't have a title for it, but I was just writing. By the time I got to the end, I knew what the title was. It came to me. And an uncle of mine, he's late now as well, Mr. Peter Udo, he was the HR head in Shell at the time. I served in Shell. So his secretary typed that manuscript for me. Wow. He was very interested. He said, what are you doing? I'm writing. Okay, when you're writing, so I would give, and the secretary was typing it for me. So that's another person who helped me on another step of that ladder.
Yes.
But it didn't get published then. It got published years later. And then the second one, after the first one was published, it was fun. And the second one, I just woke up one day. Something always triggers it.
Yes.
Something somebody says, or something that happened to someone, or a story I hear, something triggered that, and I started writing that. So that second one is Dreams of Yesterday. And I'm on the third one, which fingers crossed will be ready this year.
I would love to have a copy, Ma. I would love to have a copy. Please, I would love to have a copy and even share and try and read and give my own reviews about it. I would love to read from you.
Cool.
I
will drop when next I see Arike, or when I see you, I'll give you a copy of the second one.
Oh, I'm grateful.
And
awesome.
When the third one is out.
Awesome. Thank you, Ma. Thank you. That's a big. I just got the gift on the show. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's great. So please let me now ask. So in the industry, I know that a lot of challenges for because now you are doing production as well. So you're not just an actress, you're also a movie producer. How did you need to prove that to anyone that can also produce, or you had to produce your own movie? Because I know many times it could be difficult to get someone give you their own job to produce since they've known you as an actress. Did you have to do that, or you just went straight to your own production?
Actually, the very first thing I produced was a co-production with MME Song. Then I was still working in the bank.
Okay.
MME is a beautiful writer, as I'm sure you know. And
yes, she is.
Brought a script that she had written one day, and I said, oh, let's do this. She said, oh, am I ready? Will I do it with her? I said, yeah, why not? Let's do it together. So we both produced that. It was directed by the late Francis Ago. I was still working in the bank then. I remember at a point we were filming in Ogba. We had Uncle Olu Jacobs in that. And I would leave the set. Maybe if we shot overnight, I'll leave the set around 6 a.m. to dash to the bank, to be able to get to the bank on time. But you
don't sleep at work then. Those days you don't sleep at work when you get to work.
No.
After leaving the set.
I'm a very, very active person, even till now. At times I write till 3 a.m. and by 6 a.m. I'm up.
You're up again.
Yeah. So after that one, then I produced JT to West. That was She was also written by MME Song, but it was a solo production. I produced that by myself.
Awesome.
The reason why I went into production was because I wanted to be able to put out my own message. I found out that if I'm acting, it's somebody else's message I'm putting across. And I feel that for me, movies, apart from being a form of entertainment, is also a very powerful tool
Yes, it is.
reorientation.
Okay.
So I figured to be able to address some issues that I feel need to be addressed, I have to be I have to produce. That was why I started producing.
Awesome. Awesome. And so, and you still do both? You still do the acting and the production as well?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
My
great.
last production, the one I produced, premiered on Rock in April this year. My grandfather's wife.
Oh, I think I saw the advert. I'm not seeing the movie actually, but I think I saw the advert on Rock Studio. Okay,
Please
that's
go to
good.
the Iroko app.
Up. Okay.
Go
Okay.
subscribe to Rock. Go to the app
Yes.
and look for my grandfather's wife.
I did at
Watch
one
it
time. I
and
don't
rate it,
know
girl.
if okay, ma, I will definitely do that. I will. Please, everyone, please go there and do same. Please, let's support Auntie Lillian. This is how we support each other on the show all the time. Awesome. So let me tell you. So let me ask, how do you now get the funding? Because I know funding for producers is not easy. How do you do that?
Oh, it's an uphill task.
Yes,
You
it
can say
is.
that again.
Yes.
When I
Yes.
produced Jungle Ride, my father gave me the money for that. Daddy,
Wow.
God bless you.
Thank you, Daddy. Is late.
Ironically, when I wanted to start acting, he's late, yes. I'm an
Oh, no.
orphan. My mom is late too.
Oh, so
When I wanted
sorry.
to start
That's not
acting,
rest well.
thank you, thank you. My father he was a bit reluctant. He
I
said,
wanted to
all we
say that
hear about actors is
as an
negative
actress.
stuff.
Mm,
You didn't go to school to get a master's to come and waste your time. And I
mm,
said to him, Daddy, please trust me. You won't hear negative things about me. I'm not going to embarrass you, and I will not drag your name into the mud.
mm,
This is what I want to do. My parents have always been very, very broad minded.
mm,
They let their children make their own mistakes, they let
mm,
you walk your own path. So he said, okay, I'll hold you to your word.
mm.
And when he saw out of bounds, what he said to me was, what did they do to make my daughter cry so much? But from that day, I knew I had his full support.
Mm,
So when I wanted to produce Jungle Ride, I said to him, Daddy, I don't have money, but there's this script I really, really want to produce. Jungle Ride is about young people and the struggle for survival.
mm.
Life is a jungle. You know,
Yes.
unemployment, it addressed those issues,
Issues. Mm,
and also how people could create employment for themselves doing something they love instead of looking for the elusive white collar
way.
job. So
Mm.
it was, for me, it was a very strong script. Once I read it, I said, oh, I want to do this, but I didn't have the money. And my father came through for me. He gave me
Awesome.
the money.
Oh, God
So
bless you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy. Even though you're late, we
amen.
still say same. Thank you.
Raising funding for production is really, really
Mm.
tough.
There's a delay network for my end. Let me see. Okay. I think there's a network freeze from my side. Maybe there's a little challenge. I hope the power source is not gone off from where she is. Okay, what she's actually talking about is I asked her the question that funding. She's been in acting, then she, went into production as well. And I know from my little knowledge of acting and production, cinematography, raising fund. For TV productions, whether TV, whether movie, is always very, very, very difficult. It's very challenging for movie producers, because even if you get investors, they will want the money return in few days or months. And if so, someone that wants something the best, if you want the best, you take time to get your cast, you take time to get your crew, you take time to get location, which is very key. Of course, costume, props, which is already going into months, and of course, the part that is always a difficult job to distribution and marketing. And the investor wants the money like yesterday. So I know it's really an up task, skill. I mean, what would I say, role or job for them. So it's always very, very challenging. She's trying to get back on the show. Please pardon us. She's trying to get back on the show. But I think the device she's using is not supported. So maybe she will need to find a way to connect. The device she's using is giving errors. So I'm sure she'll try connecting again. So that's what Auntie Lillian has been saying. Auntie Lillian is someone that I know a lot of people don't know, that she's a twin. And her life is very private. I'm sure many people have never seen her husband or her kids, her picture. She's not really social media person, but she has to put herself up there because of the kind of job that she does. She studied English, and she has a master's in theater art and all that. And she worked in the bank. Can imagine, for many years. She worked in media houses, and before she now went into the bank, which she stayed for a long time. Like she said, she wasn't expecting to stay that long, but the people at the bank that she worked with then were very, very supportive of her role. And the amazing part of her story is the fact that her first ever role was a supporting lead role, which is huge. If you remember the movie Out of Bounds, she was one that played the part of RMD's wife. Can you remember? Yes. It was an emotional role, and she got us, into that mood. It was very difficult, very, very difficult. But she got us in, and and it wasn't easy and all that. But it's amazing that she got that role. She's still shocked but massive thank you to Uncle RMD, Uncle Tadeo Gidon, for giving her that opportunity, which many, 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 many would never have gotten, because we always know, or yes, assume that you have to know someone. It was her first ever audition. It was her first ever major, being in front of the camera, and she got it. And she did not know them from anywhere. So if you are dreaming to be in that industry, it's possible. Just keep practicing. She said she worked hard. Her life depended on that role when they gave her the script. She went back home. She studied really hard. She really, really studied. And to God be the glory, she got the role and she delivered. She said she cried to the point that she couldn't stop crying. She got home and she was still crying. That was how lost she was in character. And thankfully, she was congratulated when she went back that the role became hers. She got that role. And since then, she's been juggling it with her paid employment for many, many, many years before she finally, had to let go from the banking. I can't imagine how she was able to pull that through, because even if she said she was doing TV shows too as well, with banking job, that's difficult. Because I know for TV shows, they might need to house them or camp them for like minimum of 2 months or 3 months thereabout, or a month. That means she'll have to, instead of being camped, she'll have to go home because she has a work to go to. She has to go home, and the stress, they will finish production sometimes in the evening. So I can imagine that would be very okay. She's back on now. Oh, great. Oh, great. It's good to have her back. So I've added her back. So I'm sure from my end, she will connect with us shortly. So that really is huge, trying to two industries that are very demanding. Being in the banking sector is very demanding, needs your expertise, needs your commitment, needs you to be at alert all the time so that you don't go and carry someone's, someone's money into someone's account. I don't know what particular role she was doing, but I'm just trying to say how demanding the banking job can be. And of course, now that she's also in the movie industry, which is another very demanding, trying to meet up deadlines, relating with the cast and crew, getting your lines, delivering on your lines, being a character that you have never been, and all that. That's all. Okay, she's back. That's huge.
Wow, I was wondering what happened. That's been
I think it's maybe I even thought maybe
Connecting
your
several
phone
times
was.
and I'll just be there.
Yes, there's a part. There was
I'm
one
not
that
using my phone. I'm using my laptop.
maybe I think that your phone
I had to start using my phone when I couldn't connect.
yes, it was restricting your camera, so you were not showing. It was just showing your name.
Okay.
Yes, I think maybe there's a safety. I don't know. Maybe there's a code or something that is blocking. Maybe for security reasons. Maybe.
Okay.
So welcome back, Ma. Welcome back. So I was just giving
Thank
everyone a
you.
recap for those that that didn't see you when you went off. So I was trying to give a recap of the gist we've been having since. Your journey from the banking sector into the acting and managing both very demanding jobs together. But fantastic people have helped you along the line, and of course now we're talking about production. Raising fund. For
Yeah.
production. So that's the part we are on. So, like you said, it's a very big issue, getting funds together to produce a movie. But do you what can the government do? Because I hear this all the time, and like we always say, movie is always the first thing that takes Nigeria all over the world, any part of the world. They will tell you about Nollywood. They know our actors, they know our actresses, they know you guys everywhere on the screen. People relate with our movies, especially in the African countries, very, very well. So how can the private and the government, how can they come in? What role can they play?
Well, I think a lot is happening, though not
Okay,
enough. A lot
okay.
is happening in the sense that these days you can actually get loans to do
Oh,
movies, but that's a very risky venture because we don't even have enough distribution. So
mm,
if you go get a loan at some kind of interest rate and
mm.
then you don't get we have very few
Sales.
screens, right?
Mm,
Screens for cinema is usually
yeah.
the first outlet if you want to go to the box office. Then of
Mm.
course there are different lines. There's terrestrial TV, there's DVD, which people are not doing so
Not
much of
using
these days.
anymore.
There's
They're not.
online.
Yeah.
So like I said, there's some things are happening, but we still need a lot of support. If
Yes.
you go to, let me use the US for instance, different states have funds that support the arts.
Wow.
We need to have that here. We also need to have, we need more people to come in and invest in the
Mm,
stuff that you need to produce movies. For instance, we have very few studios here.
mm.
And because there are very few, they're very expensive.
Thankful. Mm,
If you have big studios where you could go to shoot your movie, so we don't have to be disturbing you and you and you coming to your houses to shoot films.
exactly.
You can do some of
Mm,
that, but then it's difficult to control sound when you can't
mm.
control your environment.
Meant. True.
So
True.
there's a lot of that. We need distribution. We also need, and here I'm talking to my colleagues, we need to have data. We don't have data
Mm,
on the industry. If you don't have data, it becomes difficult for investors to come
mm,
in because
mm.
investors are businessmen and women. They
I
want to
like
be
that.
sure they
That's a
get
new
their money
one.
back,
That's a new one. Yeah,
and
true.
they need data to be
And now,
able to
now,
do
now
that.
you're speaking like a banker.
Yeah, if we don't have data, if you can't tell them, oh, if I do this movie, take it to the cinemas, this is what I hope to get there.
That's
Now
a
the
return.
cinemas, we are beginning to have a box office here.
Yes.
They're able to tell you, oh, this movie did this amount in this
Amount,
number of
yes.
weeks. So
Yes,
that
yes.
is data. We're beginning to gather data, and
That's
that
great.
is what is going to attract investors. So
Awesome.
people in the industry, we need to be open and upfront like other businesses. If I do my movie, I need to be able to say, this is how much I put into this movie and say it accurately, not telling lies to inflate our own ego. I can, this my movie was 300 million. Hey, if you say your movie was 300 million and you did not make 500, 600, 700 million, then no investor wants to touch you, because that means you're losing brand. So let's be honest. If we can be honest with ourselves and put out facts, put the amount you put in, say what you got out of it from the different streams of income you were able to key into, you know. And if you lost money, be able to look inwards and check out your mistakes. This is what I did wrong. I will do better. You know, those are the kind of things we need in the industry. It will help us. We need that transparency so that those who are that we're asking to put in money will have confidence that their money is not just going to help you marry another wife or husband and buy a big car or something. So we start treating our business like a business. So that
I love this part. I love this part. I love this part. I'm so grateful you mentioned this, Ma, because I know a lot of business guys out there will just be nodding their head and say, now, yes, we are now getting it right. Yes. And I think beyond your industry, I think for every business, this is very key. Data. My husband is always talking about data analysis, and he's the one saying hello to you. He's the one saying superwoman. He's calling you superwoman.
Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So I'm sure you'll be so happy to hear this, because always saying it that you need to start knowing how many audience you get per week. You need to know, so that in case when investors come, you can tell them that every week these are the people that watch my shows. Every week these are the people I'm looking forward to. You know, and that's fantastic. So now tell me, Ma, what are the moments you can never forget? Being in this industry, you've been in the industry for over 10, how many years now? Over 15 years.
Out of Bounds was in 1996, 97.
Wow, been a very long time. That's 23, 4 years now. Oh, so what can you remember the moment that got you? As in, I know almost every. I know actors don't like saying it too much. They say every job has its own, has its own specialty. So, but which one is so unforgettable? What happened, and why is it that got to you that much?
Okay. After Out of Bounds, I was at home one day, the movie had been released, and then I got a message from Richard saying I was nominated, the Real Awards.
Real Awards.
That I was nominated for Best New Actress or Best Upcoming Actress. So they sent me the invitation for the awards, and I went. That was the very first award show I was going to. And I looked at the other nominees and I was like, but being nominated was an honor. And when I got into that hall and it got to that part and they said, and the winner is, and they called my name.
Oh, wow.
I will never forget that moment. And then about maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so later, I was in my house and a friend of mine, Oyinko, called me and said, you just won another award and I collected it for you. I'm like, really? Yep, it was Thema, the movie awards. In those days, it was Real and Thema. They were the big names.
Yes, names, yeah.
I didn't even know I was nominated for Thema. Talk less of... I didn't get an invitation to go. I was in my house. I didn't hear anything about it, but she brought the award. Awesome. So winning 2 awards for my very first attempt.
That's real.
I can't forget it.
Awesome. And thank you to the organizers and for able, to look at you, not for any push here and there. They saw the raw talent and they picked it and they connected. Massive thank you. And that's what we are clamoring for in every industry. Let's just be objective. Let's be truthful. Let's look for the content. Let's look for those that can connect us to the value that we need. That's what can drive our society. That's how we can put us back on the pedestal of the giant of Africa, which we really, really are. I believe that no matter the challenges we are going through right now in Nigeria, we are still the giant. I keep talking about it. They say I don't understand this your love for Nigeria. I am in Nigeria. If I had a choice, maybe I wouldn't have been in Nigeria, but I didn't have a choice. I have to love what I don't have, So you don't have a choice. So I have to love it the way it is and do my
My
own
dear
little best.
sister, every
Yes,
day I
ma'am.
say to people, we should all be
Mm,
the change we want to see. It's
true,
so
ma'am.
easy for us to sit back and criticize Nigeria, but
Yes,
everybody in their little corner can make a difference to get us to where
true,
we ought to be. But
true.
until we actually look inwards and say, where am I failing as a person?
Mm,
We
mm,
won't get there. It rains
true.
and our roads flood, and
Mm,
you're driving on the street, and a sane human being packs rubbish from his car
mm,
or her car and
we
throws out
do
of the
it.
window.
Bingo.
You take a
Mm,
drink, you toss the bottle out. All those things go and block the drains. And then when
true.
it rains, we all suffer for it. You know?
Mm, mm. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Now that leads me to two things. The first part, your leadership in the film industry. You were vice president for a while. You were leading this industry that you came in. You came in like you didn't know who is who, and now you're part of those that were leading, and of course your humanitarian works as well. But let's talk about the leadership angle. How was it for you? Was it something that these are your mates, these are your colleagues in the industry, now trying to pull them together, especially when you have two parties that they are both your friends and there are issues that you need to resolve. How do what is the leadership? Let me say it like this. What is that thing that makes you balance it well in that type of leadership role?
What I try to do at every point in my life when I'm faced with a decision, I always try. I'm not perfect, but I
Mm,
try to do what I think is the right thing in the situation. What will benefit the greater majority,
mm,
even if it doesn't please me as a person. That's what I have always tried to do. And whenever I found myself in a position of leadership, I try to bring value to the table. When I became the vice chairman of the Lagos branch of my alumni, Fekokosa, I said to the then chairman that one of the things I think we should be doing is bringing value to our members.
mm,
Every day somebody is ill and people are
mm,
running helter-skelter looking for money. Why don't we look for a way to get insurance?
mm.
And the chairman then, his name is Odion Omofoma, Odion bought into that vision and we set up a welfare
Of
unit.
course. Mm,
And to God be the glory. After Odion, I became chairman. I was chairman for 4 years
mm,
and I was blessed
mm.
with great support from the members of that association and the president of that association, who herself is a woman.
Awesome.
She's
Awesome.
the current president is a woman. I got a lot
Mm,
of support from them, and we set up a welfare trust fund, which raised significant amount of money, thanks to several people whose names I won't mention. But
mm,
we raised significant amount of money. We set up that trust fund. And my exco bought into my vision that this trust fund should be independent.
mm,
So it was registered as an independent welfare trust fund for Fegokowosa. The
mm.
chairman of the board of trustees of that trust fund is the country manager for PwC. We wanted accountability, we wanted
Okay.
structure, we wanted it to be properly done. So today, I'm a member of that board. Thank you to my people. but somebody
Yes.
else chairs that board. Somebody else is the president. I'm no longer the chairman. I finished my 4-year, 2 terms.
True.
Somebody else is the chairman. And that trust is running.
Mm.
We're providing health insurance, we're providing life insurance, we're
Fantastic.
providing employability lectures,
That's good.
preparing our young people for jobs, and also enabling those who want a change of career. So that welfare trust fund is doing great. Thank you to everybody who is working in that trust. Those are the kind of things I feel leadership is about. If you get a
Yes.
position of leadership, you must leave a mark.
True.
You must impact on the people you're leading. Otherwise, you have failed.
True. Well done, Ma. I like that. And I like the fact that he was independent. So with or without anybody that were the people that created it, he can still run that
Yeah.
structure, that process and that structure. Well done, Ma. God bless everyone that supported your idea and they brought it to life. Thank you. So let's talk about the humanitarian work that you do as well.
Okay. I'm an ambassador for Neola Cancer Care Foundation.
Yeah.
The visionary of that foundation is a young woman, Eniola Salo Akintunde. I never knew her, never heard of Neola until I got a call from her one day. She said she got my number from one of my colleagues, Kepi, and she wanted to come and see me. So I said, okay, come. She came to my office and we had a chat. And then Neola said to me that she said to Kepi that she needed, Kepi is also an ambassador of that foundation. She said to Kepi she needed people, in quotes, with faces that can help her push this vision. Because the young lady in question is very passionate about cancer. She lost her husband to cancer and she didn't have a lot of support when it was happening. There was no colon cancer foundation she could go to for advice or help, how to manage the situation. So she was alone. So after her husband passed, she said, okay, I don't want others to suffer what I have suffered. There are NGOs for breast cancer, cervical cancer, the popular ones, but nobody talks about colon cancer. Nobody knows about it. So she said she wanted to set up a foundation. And she got lucky. She got good people. They are medical people. Her board is loaded. Pastor Taiwo Dukoya is on her board. Mr. Okeremi, Dr. There are many, many medical people and influential people on her board. And then she has the ambassadors, myself, Kepi, and a few others. It's our business to
support, make awareness,
put it out there, raise awareness, And she said something to me that touched me, She said, when you approach people for ambassadorship, they're asking you what's in it for me. And she says, we are an NGO, we don't have money. We're actually looking for people that will help us raise money. And I told her, thank you for the opportunity. Cancer is something that can touch anybody at any time. And I think we need to raise awareness for it. We need to bring help to cancer warriors, people who are battling. It's a lonely place to be if you have terminal illness. And Eniola, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. It's been great. It's also had its very, very sad moments when we lose some of our warriors. But that woman who heads that foundation, she never lets go. She's constantly pushing. By the way, we have our annual event, Ijoya. Ijoya is a big event we do every year. Dance, exercise, wellness. Different people come. We have first ladies coming from across the nation. Last year, we had 2 or 3 first ladies. It's big, and it's coming up in October. So please, everybody, look out for the Ijoya and join us. We do free screening.
Please do join Ijoya. Yes, humanitarian work is huge. is a ministry on its own, and it needs
Yeah.
all the support that it can get. Beyond donations, you might not have the donations, but you have the voice, you have the
Just come,
platform.
exactly. Just
Just,
come
you know,
support
just
us.
come
We also
support,
have
pray
our Christmas Day
like
with
that.
Cancer Warriors. For the last 3 years, apart from last year because of the pandemic, we spent Christmas Day in the hospital. We visit those on the cancer ward. We take food items, medical, healthcare items to them, and we just spend the day with them so they don't feel so lonely.
Well done, ma. Your kids must be very proud. Very, very, very proud. Well done, ma'am. Well done. God
Thank
bless you,
you.
and God bless the foundation as well. And thank you for joining them, and to other ambassadors too as well. Into humanitarian too. I understand,
I
when you get
saw it.
all what.
Children. Yeah, I
Yes, I
saw
do too.
that when I
Yes,
checked out
children.
your.
Yes,
Well
I do.
done.
Thank you,
Invite me to
ma'am.
that sometime when you guys are going to see children.
No, not sometime. Oh, very soon. Yay! Open invite. Very soon, I will, ma. I will. In December, we always have community outreach for women and children in low-income communities. We give out, boxed food for them, and it's always amazing. And I'm sure that they'll be so, so happy to see you. And of course, we do orphanage visit too as well. Oh, awesome! Thank you for saying this, ma. This blesses my heart. Thank you. Thank you
You're
so much. So,
welcome.
how do you let's round off, how do you unwind? Because I know you write, you do a whole lot of things. As if you just, like you said, there's the quote that you have. Maybe you should say it yourself. There's a
Life
quote.
is short, so
Yes,
live
it
it to
is
the
short.
fullest. You don't
Yes,
know.
yes.
It could be
Mm,
tomorrow, it could be tonight. You
true,
can be
true,
told that you just need to be ready. So I'm
true,
trying
ma'am.
my best to be ready for when the
I
call
was,
comes.
I was just about to ask that what's your lifeline? There's always a motto, and I think you just share that. That's your motto. Is there anything behind it? Was there any experience to it?
Ah, I have lost people I didn't know I was going to lose when I didn't know I was going to lose them. It
Mm,
happens overnight,
mm,
just like that. 1 minute they are here, the next minute they are gone.
mm,
And I've come to realize that we don't own our life, we don't own the lives of
sure.
those we love. Your children are on trust to you.
Yes,
You're just holding
yes,
them in trust. They are not yours.
yes.
The owner can take them at any time. So one needs, and I believe that everyone needs to find the reason they are here on earth. We're not here for frivolities to make a lot of
Mm,
money, wear fine
mm,
designer clothes and all of that. No, we're all here for a reason. Find your
yes.
reason and do
Mm,
your best to achieve it before the call comes. So when the call
mm,
comes, you go home fulfilled.
mm.
So that's why I do
Word,
so many things. I'm
word.
struggling very hard to fulfill all of the reasons I'm here.
I can see, ma'am, you are, and you're working so, so hard impacting lives. God bless you. God bless you for
And
all that
you.
you do. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I am extremely grateful. Very, very grateful. It's an honor. It's a privilege, because I say it all the time that this you share. If you're invited by Harvard University, I know how much they will pay you, to talk, and share your journey. This is something that I know that a lot of people will get paid for, and I get it just on the platter, a freebie to me. It's like a platter of it's gold to me. So I'm so grateful. I am honored. Thank you so much, man. God bless you.
Pleasure
I'm very,
and
very
the
grateful.
honor is mine. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you for
Thank you. We'll
having
keep
me.
seeing your works. Is there any movie coming in? Any movie coming on soon? Is there any project, any
I've
movie?
done about 3 or 4 in the last 2 years. I know some of them are not yet out, so they will be out.
Okay. Very
I
soon.
didn't
We'll
produce
watch
them,
out
so I don't
for
know when they will be out, but they will be out. But I'm
Okay.
on
Anyone
Oasis. Oasis is
Yes.
currently running.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes, yes. That's the clip I got to share. I got to share that one, and it was so refreshing seeing you again. Thank you so
Thank
much, ma.
you.
Thank you. I'm so
Thank
grateful.
you,
So I can talk to
Adiroke.
you now. Thank you, ma'am. My regards to
All
the
right.
family,
Then.
ma'am, to everyone around. Bye, ma.
I'm going to yours. Tell your husband thank you for me.
Yes, I will. He's my number one fan. I will. I'll tell you.
That's brilliant.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Have a lovely
Okay.
evening, ma'am. Yeah,
And
bye,
you
ma'am. Oh, awesome. Thank you everyone for staying with me. I had a fantastic time with Auntie Lillian. It's as if I'm talking to my elder sister. You can see us chatting, talking, and I'm so sure. So people are like, I don't get you on the show. So we get just gisting and having fun. And that's what the show is all about. We just talk, we share journey so that we can let people know that it's not all platter of gold. We're not here to play. This I like a parting words. There's a reason why you are here. It's not for the frivolities. It's not just to buy and buy and buy and store. Like that rich man in the Bible. He just kept storing wealth in the store. And he was like, and Jesus told him that tonight your soul will be taken. But I like the fact that, our journey is about impacting life, making someone's life better. I hope you're doing the same. It doesn't have to be massive like Auntie Lillian is doing. It might be small in your own little corner, but make sure you're doing something. Making sure that through you, someone is happy. Not that through you, someone is sad, someone is crying. Not that through you, someone is pained, but make sure that through you, someone gets a smile. Somebody's like my friend would say, somebody's forcing a dimple, to happen. Please be deliberate about being good. Be deliberate about doing good. Bible says everywhere he went, Jesus was doing good, because it is very, very important that humanity we impact into humanity and we make each other's life better, not just we make ourselves miserable. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm grateful. Now you get to watch the show on Adirunke live page. I'm not using my profile anymore. I'm trying to move and have a structure. Let the show be on Adirunke live page, and you can watch the repeat on my YouTube channel, Adirunke Onikbede. Anytime, any day, you can go on YouTube, watch all the previous videos of the guests we've had on the show. And you can see that I bring you guests that are having value to us, value to me, value to you, and value to you. And I tell you, to generations yet on board, this value is something that we need. Whether the whole world is cutting it off, some of us are going to stick with it, because those are the things that make life better. It's not about just the jumping up and down. It's good to have fun, but it's very important to realize the reason why we're here. Like Auntie Lillian said, it's so, so important. And I want to believe that you will join and walk this journey with us. Like we say on the show, the day you wake up to your dream is your morning. Make sure you run with it. In finding purpose, make sure you find your peace of mind. Make sure you find your joy, and make sure that you make your life journey fulfilling, not for anyone, but for you. See the journey Auntie Lillian had, from the banking, from the education, to all the places she has worked, to the banking, and now to the movies as acting, and of course to production. And she can never forget that the first chance she got to do a movie was the one that got her 2 awards. Isn't that amazing? So never ever limit yourself. Whatever you want to do, please go for it. Go for it. Never think that some people have been doing it since. Some people have been there. Me care. I'm just new. No. Remember, it's not about you. You're just a vessel. It's about the one that has sent you, that gives you the content for you as a vessel to explode. So go forth and explode. Have a fantastic evening. My love to your family. My love to everyone around you. I cannot thank you less, Auntie Arike Oladipo. Thank you so much for the connections all the time. I'm grateful, ma. God bless you. Please make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed to my channel. Please, I'm aiming 1,000. I'm still below 1,000. Please subscribe, and God bless you. Have a fantastic evening. Bye, everyone. Bye.